The Kitchener Rangers Hall of History was recently renamed as McLelland Hall. Dave McLelland is an honorary director of the Rangers and has been a fan of the team since 1963. He generously donated his collection of team memorabilia and keepsakes so it may be enjoyed by fans for years to come.
Well, Dave, let's start with when you finally actually got started collecting the Rangers memorabilia. It was right at the onset of when the team came into existence, wasn't it?
Well, it started very early. I can't give you a date actually as to the exact day, but yes, it was very early on, and it's interesting. My wife and I always had an interest in collecting, and whether it was antiques or collectibles or Ranger stuff or hockey cards or what have you, and so yeah, we started putting memorabilia stuff away, and it just grew from there, I guess.
So you had the passion to collect things beforehand, but what made you really want to collect the history of the Kitchener Rangers?
Well, it's interesting. I taught science. People often think I must have taught history because I've always had an interest in history, and part of collecting for us was that you want to preserve history, and because things pass quickly, and if you don't snap them up at that moment, you may never get them again, and they're lost forever. And so that was where I think the passion came from as well. We're obviously very proud of the Kitchener Rangers franchise, and it should be preserved, and so that was a lot of the motivation.
We've seen a lot of memories here in this organization, and you've seen a lot of them yourself. Can you maybe speak to maybe a few items in your collection that really stand out and have special memories for you?
I can still remember the day when John lives in Cambridge, and John was the person who scored the first Rangers goal in 1963. And Beach came up to me one day and said, "Dave, I've got the puck from which I scored the first goal. It's in a window in the store in Galt. Would you like it?" Well, I'm not sure if I was slobbering or drooling, but would I like it? And so Beach very generously handed it to me, and it's been on display in the store at the Odd for some time now. I mean, that's really special. The first goal in 1963. And other examples, I think of, again, at one of our alumni events, another alumnus came up to me and said, "I've got an old jersey, a woolen jersey," and said, "Would you like the jersey?" To which his wife said, "You can't give that to Dave. It's got some moth holes in it." I said, "Wow, that's character. I want it." And as we researched, then we found out it had actually been worn by Jean Rattel with the New York Rangers, okay, number 19. And they didn't put names on the jerseys in those days, so it was just number 19. And so that's been on display at the Odd as well. And I'm sitting here thinking of you and thinking of a banner over our head, and I remember buying that one night from a fan of the Rangers. So it just goes on, and it accumulates.
To see, that history live on, and to see younger generations get to actually see, those woolen sweaters and the puck from the first goal scored here in this franchise. What does that mean to you to know that younger generations are going to see the actual pieces of history, because there's been a lot of them in this franchise?
I'm delighted and excited that long after I'm gone, the memorabilia will exist, and future fans will have a chance to say, "Hey, look at that funny mask. Look at what they wore years ago," not remembering that there was a time they didn't wear any masks and play goal.
That's right.
But just things like that. Jimmy Brown's mask is on the wall in the Hall of History, and he played for us in 70, 71, and when you look at it compared to some of the other masks in the display, they think, wow, not very creative or not very colorful and so on. But so yeah, it's really exciting to think that I guess it comes back to preserving history.
You spoke of your wife. She was a part of collecting this history as well. Tell me what it means to you to see your name on the door, now McLelland Hall, the Rangers Hall of History. Just to think back to all the time that you spent with your wife compiling all these items, and to now see your name on a door here in the Odd, commemorating all this history. What does this dedication mean to you?
Well, I honestly don't know how. I'm not very often speechless. I like to talk. But I guess if I had one wish, it was that Mary would still be here to share this with me. The rest of the family will share it, but I'm sure that she's looking down on us and smiling, because I'm sure she's very happy and very honored. It's just a very exciting time for us.